what is it, good afternoon in the US of A, and it would be very good night in Perth and very early morning in eastern states of Australia. Hello to my members in particular and to all of those who've taken the time to join in. Now, where am I? I'm in Milan. In fact, I'm in central Milan, and I've been here for, a day? Got in yesterday. That's my son Jace, and we're renting this gorgeous apartment, having stayed in a hotel last night. When I get a few more of you, hello Arnav, when I get a few more of you, I'll run through the timeline for the cancellation of the Imola GP, because it was all very late, as you well know. I've made some notes here. In the interim, I did have a great meal last night. Lance Stroll's trainer, Henry Howe, said I had to go to, I can't even remember the name of the hotel, but it's a 5-star in town, and I had to have the ragu veal tagliatelle, which was fantastic, and so much better value than New York. My God, New York was crazy money. Right, first of all, please, could you click the like button? It helps bump things up. So let me talk you through what I know of the cancellation of the Imola GP. If I go back, let's go back about 6 weeks ago. There was some flooding in Faenza, and that was obviously not good for the area. So this is the second floods in a matter of weeks. And when I say floods, it's savage out there. Water was as high as 2 metres in Faenza, which is the home of AlphaTauri. And I know that because some friends of mine in F1 were staying there, and they showed me some pictures of a van they had out the front. They had a couple of these vans, big metre and a 1.8 metre high vans, and he reckons they're write-offs because they've been totally submerged. The first we knew of there being any real drama was 2 days before it was cancelled, and everybody in all the media got a note saying, for your information only, do not go to the track. It's dangerous at the moment. Do not go there, because what would typically happen with us as photographers is that we would take our equipment in on a Wednesday afternoon, get a locker, get a desk and sort that out, have a quick look around and take off. So on the Tuesday, we were told not to go for our information. And of course, I booked my flights from New York to Imola, Milan actually, and then I was going to get a train to Imola to arrive on the Wednesday afternoon. I booked accommodation, had it booked for a long time. On the day before the cancellation, there was another email, a message or a WhatsApp message sent around to the media saying, once again, you're reminded, do not go to the track. You'll be given more information as it comes to hand. So at that point, a lot of us figured that maybe we wouldn't race on Friday, or we wouldn't have a track day on Friday, but maybe we'd just go straight to Saturday and Sunday, because we hadn't seen too much of what was going on there. There were a couple of pictures, but we didn't know anything about the 2 metre high water. Now, Imola isn't badly affected, or wasn't badly affected, according to the host of my Airbnb. She said, no, we're reasonably fine here. There's some localised flooding, pooled water, etc. But there's a river that runs alongside the track. Now, this river flows at a fair pace normally, and I've seen some photos of it in the last couple of days, and it was right up there high. But was it getting into the paddock? No, not the F1 paddock, but the F2 paddock was indeed copping a fair hammering. And I've seen some photos, as I imagine you have too, of a lot of the area underwater. F1 paddock largely untouched. Now, you might have seen Nick De Vries' post where he mentioned that last week at one stage he drove somewhere and had to come back because he obviously is based here, driving for AlphaTauri, and he got caught. He couldn't get through to where he needed to go, and he couldn't go back from where he'd come, and he was stranded. And in the end, one of the McLaren crew, I think, had a hotel room that he allowed Nick to use, so at least he had somewhere to stay that night. But things at that stage were looking rather dodgy. Now, a lot of the drivers wouldn't have come to the race because they would typically fly in on the morning of the event, because it's a local race, and someone like Charles Leclerc would probably drive from Monaco in his 416, I think it is, a Ferrari 416 Spider. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong. So it's a reasonably local race, and hence they don't get here the night before. So I doubt, apart from the two AlphaTauri drivers, I doubt any of the drivers would have actually lobbed here. And I've looked at a fair amount of their social media posts, so I've got a rough idea, but I can't speak for certain about it. But of course, now there's an issue with what happens to this race. Do they reschedule it? Is there an opportunity at some point down the track for this race? A 488 Pista, is it? Thank you. Spider, yes, the sunroof. The roof comes off. Is there an opportunity to reschedule it? Well, I think it's going to be tricky. This was a triple header, as you know, and to find a couple of spots, I think there's June, there are 2 spots in June, but that's going to be a hectic month. And of course, they've got to speak to all the teams to see whether or not it works for them. Remember too that there's a whole lot of contractors who've spent weeks setting up this event. There's a whole lot of caterers who would have cooked up food and produced food for this event, and they get told at the very last minute, which was unusual, that it should be called off so late. Obviously, there were a lot of people involved, and it was an expensive decision. There's a lot of people inconvenienced here, not the least of which are the locals who had their homes and businesses flooded. And I guess they've got more, no doubt they've got more important things to worry about than an F1 race, but I was watching a bit of television today here in this room, here in Milan, or this apartment, and there was a couple of news reports, and we could glean enough that we could hear Formula One, we could hear cancellation, and then there's also a Bruce Springsteen concert not too far from here, and somebody said, well, that's still going ahead, and the ground is absolutely sodden. It's not going to be that comfortable at that Bruce Springsteen concert. So how many people actually made it out to Imola? Well, there's definitely were a few of the media that had got out there in readiness for the event, and I was actually on a flight where I came from New York to Heathrow, and we got off that flight, and then we got on another one, and it wasn't until I got off the flight that I'm going to do a video on this, I think, but I found out on my second flight to Milan, when I got off the plane, your train has been cancelled. And then a few minutes later, there's no race. That race has been cancelled. Well, it won't be going ahead. Didn't say cancelled, because if it's cancelled, I guess that they don't have the right then to reschedule it. But I mentioned that I can't remember that happening. Of course, Australia got cancelled, but we'd already had a day of it. But this is the first time I can remember the day prior to an event, it's been stopped, and I've only been doing F1 for 6 years, so I imagine there are plenty of instances prior. But yes, spectators, lots of you have already contacted me saying, we're now stuck in here because our flights don't go back for another 5 days, so they're stuck in, when I say stuck, Milan's fine, there's absolutely no inconvenience here. When I flew in though, I thought, in fact, you'll see a video coming up in the next couple of days where you'll see some vision of us flying into Milan. And you judge when you see it. I couldn't work out whether that was pools of water in paddocks or whether that was just a reflection. My guess was that there were some paddocks that there were flooding in. But here it's not to a stage where you have to be worried about safety. And I understand that there have been 8 deaths, maybe more than that now, up in that region. And it's quite a large region. I did glimpse a map that had all these red areas. Do not go to these areas, because at one stage I thought, well, maybe I should, given that I've got accommodation there, if the train's been cancelled, maybe I can get through by car. But there was no guarantee of that. And then I thought, well, if we get there, and bear in mind I've got to be in Rome on Monday, and then we've got to be in Monaco on Wednesday. If I get to Imola and it rains even more and the area is totally cut off in big strife. So at this stage, I think I'm okay to get to Rome on Monday, and whether that's direct or whether I have to go via the coast, I will know closer to the date. So let's have a look at your comments here. Is there anybody here who's in Milan or in Imola that can perhaps chime in and give us a feel of what's going on in that particular region. I happen to know that a lot of the team guys who've been there to set up have now got a hectic time to take down this stuff. How flooded is the track? Well, I did see a picture today, and it looked like the F2 paddock was very submerged. You know, I'm thinking a couple of feet of water, but not the F1 paddock. I'm not sure. I'm sorry about the volume. It's not adjustable at all. What did I do in New York? Someone said killed 2 days and did a video about it. Okay, so somebody got a pizza delivered to their house near Imola, so the roads are reasonably open there. Because I already had a flight booked from Rome, so I'm not going to let that go to waste. The race doesn't take place in a vacuum. To put it on, they need a large amount of police, medic. Yes, of course, that's right, and those people would be stretched. That's a good point. Thank you, Joseph. A good point for my video that I might do later. What do I call that? Emergency services. But certainly, this is worldwide news, and when you take an F1 event and you put that into an area like this and it gets cancelled, that sort of ups the story for the media worldwide. It doesn't change it for anything here in Italy. Did I see any water on the track? No, not for the photos I've seen, and the stuff I've seen is off the track. It looks sodden, and in some places had pooled water. I'm guessing a couple of feet deep, maybe more. Maybe I should do a virtual, they should do a virtual GP. Well, I think they've got a lot to worry about at the moment. What else have you got to say about this? Mike is so quiet. Well, I could move a bit closer and shout a bit more. But yeah, it's a terrible loss, because this event is it's an old school track. It's in a country area, so it's a very important event for the area. It brings a lot of money in, or would normally. Now, I imagine all of those people that booked hotel accommodation in the area aren't going to go there because A, they can't, or they probably can't get there, and B, there's nothing for them to do. Hence, my bookings had to be moved back to next year, or look, if it gets rescheduled to June, hopefully hopefully that apartment's still available. How is Jace as a new F1 photographer? Good, coming to grips with it. It is extremely hard, but his car pics need to pick up a little bit, as probably mine did when I first started, but his people pics are good, and he's also very good at a lot of the back end stuff that takes a lot of pressure off me. Should F1 go to another circuit to replace it? Well, they can't go this week. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. So no, that wouldn't be possible. This close. Thank you, Olivia. Like my Miami picks. China went, now Imola. Yeah, but I think we might get Imola back with a bit of luck. Weather's okay-ish, Mark. Yes, grey outside today. Not super cold, chilly in the morning. Needed a jacket, but pleasant. And last night I went to a beautiful restaurant and had some veal ragu tagliatelle. Where should I go for dinner tonight for a stunning Italian meal? That's what my next decision is after I finish this live stream with you. And please, could you all hit the like button? There's 528 of you on here, and you're all getting this service free of charge. So hit the like button for me now. Only 130 likes, so I think we can get up to 300 very quickly. If you hit the bang, 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 look at that, 10 straight away. Should have stayed in Indianapolis. Yeah, but who knew? Who knew? Thank you very much. A few of you clicking on the like button with your thumbs up there. Doesn't cost you anything and simple to do. No, we're not staying in Milan till Monday. Oh, till Monday, yes. We're staying in Milan here. Last night got ripped off deluxe with a room, but this is probably on par with New York price-wise for hotels, especially when you book last minute. Good, we got that up to 233, so up to 300, and we'll be happy. Hopefully you all had a look at my Pato Award video that I put up the other day. Just a great guy. I've done a signed print collaboration with him too, and it's a beautiful photo of him at post-season testing 2021, and he will and you can get yourself one of those at KymIllman.com. What does a non-F1 weekend of yours look like? Well, I don't know what we're going to do this weekend. Is there football on tonight? No, tomorrow night, I think, here. Or as I'd say, soccer. I think Sampdoria play one of the Milan teams. Anyone got a spare ticket that we could buy or two for that? I'd like to go along to that match. That would be great. What race weekend do you enjoy most on track? Well, I quite loved Imola. It was one of my favourites, as I love Monaco, which we're going to have to wait just over a week for now. O'Ward is such a sweet guy. Who gives him hate? I can't believe anyone gives him hate. Have you ever met a hater doing better than you? No. If you're a hater, you're not doing as well as the person you hate. That's a fact. Says one of my members, Chris, we did get our hotels cancelled in Bologna, but waiting to hear on what they're going to do about tickets. Yes, it's a tricky game because now there's so much work to be done. All those contractors who were and people setting up food businesses at the track, they're inconvenienced big time. All of the people who pay for tickets are inconvenienced. Suppliers to the likes of F1 experiences and to F1, they are inconvenienced. Kurt, what am I wearing? This was a scarf that I don't know whether you remember, but this was that went through the wash. It's a Louis scarf and it's beautiful wool. Went through the wash at the laundry at the Baku Hotel. What is it? The Boulevard Hotel. And they ended up having to buy it off me. So I managed to find a second-hand one for about the same price that they paid me for it. So I was lucky. Portimao back on the calendar. No, I didn't really love that area, but the track was okay. Will this cancellation have a big effect on earnings for you? Yeah, yes, it will. It'll mean that we're all expending this weekend, expecting to earn some revenue from the race. That's not going to happen. Worst case scenario is they don't reschedule it and we dip out on everything. Best case is they do reschedule it and we have to pay for another set of costs, but at least you get income. Weather insurance is a thing for outdoor events if there is specific rainfall. Yeah, I don't think they'd have any trouble confirming that this was well and truly rain affected. Am I back in Perth? No, I'm in Milan, Easy Adventures. Will they host Imola this year? Don't know. I don't think they could have it the week after Monza. That would cannibalise both events. That's my gut feel. The yellow man on the bookshelf. Yeah, I just noticed him. Thank you for that. Oh, and I stayed last night at the NYX Hotel, and they have a very nifty machine that prints out little Polaroid photos. There's one of Jace up there, and there's a couple of me in my, in my camera bag. So what to do here in this next couple of days in Milan? I'm interested in your suggestions, and thank you to those people who have already sent me suggestions. I may do a couple of those things. Have I been able to get out to take photos? No, we can do what we want around here in Milan, but I've not been able to get to Imola, obviously. And quite frankly, I'm not interested in taking photos. I'm doing too much video stuff and I needed a rest. And we've pretty much spent the whole day in this apartment, which we got because the hotel room at the NYX was so bloody small. It was about 20 square metres and two of us in there. Lovely bathroom and a great common area, but yeah, I'm glad we got out of there. Nice people. AC Milan v Sampdoria on Saturday at, I can't remember. I did look at the name of the stadium here. I did stay at the Moxie at AMS Airport based on your stay. It was a good night's sleep at a good price. Yeah, they're nice hotels and small rooms too. Pop up to Lake Como. Will the trains go up there? Would we be able to get a car and go up there? And what would we see? Portimao will never get an F1 race again. I don't know if everyone saw that. It was a disgusting at the crash there last month where a car ended up in the grandstand. Did I see? Yes, I did see that. I think I even know that corner. Do some nice watch shopping this weekend. Well, the only watches I want are watches I can't get, and that's Rolexes. And you just can't buy one. Is that game the Sassuolo versus Monza tomorrow night? That won't be in Milan, obviously. Are you streaming to deaf people? Your audio is perfect. Thank you. Am I streaming to death, people? San Siro. Right, will I be able to get a ticket if I want to go and see that game? Or has anybody got a corporate box that I can buy a couple of corporate tickets to and make a night of it? Is there a video that talks about your whole motorsport journey? Yes, it's available to my, members. If you're a member of my channel, and some of you are, you can go and have a look at that. It's in the community tab. I don't know if the Giro d'Italia is passing by where we are. I did watch a bit of it today on television. Although, what would I see? I'd travel some distance and I'd stand on a corner and then they'd go past once. That's not a very exciting game. You want to be in a helicopter or have an opportunity to see a few separate spots. Keep going past Como to Lugano. Thank you for the tip. Have you ever been to the Isle of Man TT? No, I haven't, Patrick, and thank you for being a member. And members would have noted that you got some raw pictures from the last race and some wallpapers. You get those free of charge. I won't be watching the 24 hours of Nürburgring. Might watch the very end. Start and end. They're the only two bits I need to see. And I only realised that was on very late in the piece. But getting back to the race that we're not going to have, it was, I guess, when I got that first note about not going to the track. Do not go to the track. Do not go and put your stuff in your lockers. I can't remember the wording of it, but I thought, whoa, that got my full attention. But at that stage, I didn't even think that it would be a likelihood that the race would be cancelled. When I got the second one, which was the day before it was cancelled, then I figured, rightio, should I even be going there? Should I look at rescheduling, rerouting? But I'd already committed. I was flying. So really, I had no choice. And even if they said, no, we're cancelling it, I would have still come because, as you probably realised, to reschedule airfares costs you a fair whack of money, and getting a flight at the last minute was also tricky, would have been tricky. And as I mentioned before, my train from Milan to Bologna was cancelled, not the one from Bologna to Imola. And then a fellow photographer friend of mine said he's trying to get back to Milan because he got as far as Bologna, then got the note and thought, right, I'm not going any further. So he's done an about face. He's managed to luckily get back to the airport just in time to make his flight back to Europe. And I would imagine a lot of media were in the same boat, where they get that message while they're en route to the place, and then they've got to quickly make a decision. And of course, nobody's getting any bargains for a last-minute booking on an airline or on a train. Was I satisfied with the communication? Well, we would have liked earlier notification, but I guess they make the call when they have all the facts. And no point cancelling it too early if there's a possibility of it still going ahead, because, as we all know, it affects 100,000 people, maybe 200,000. What with spectators and people involved in the sport and contractors and just everybody. It's a huge flow-on effect. And now there's so much work for all of those, like the ticket agency I see today, they're providing full refunds, but you've got to claim it. So that's work for the punter, that's work for the provider of the service. There's so much that has to happen. It just beggars belief. And the longer I go thinking about it, the more things I think, oh yeah, that's also impacted. And of course, I was there on the day that they cancelled the Australian Grand Prix, that we'd done a day. We'd done the Thursday in 2020. And on the Friday, early in the morning, it got cancelled. And people said, well, hey, what about me? I just bought a ticket just before they cancel it. Everyone's in the same boat. There would have been people who bought a ticket just before they cancelled this one. And there would have been people who were just about to press the button on it when they cancelled it. So they were very, very lucky that it happened when it did, and they didn't get caught having to get a refund, because at some point you have this, well, this was the decision time at 5 o'clock, 4:59, yeah, you're inconvenienced more than 5:01 where you didn't have to pay any money. It's a tricky game, and I mentioned earlier on, for those of you who just came in, oh, by the way, could you all please hit the like button? Got 304, and I think you can get that up to 400. The Bruce Springsteen concert, well, as of this morning, the Bruce Springsteen concert was still going on, and even this afternoon I heard on the telly that, yes, that was still going on, and that's not far from here, and that's going to be very, very wet, I understand. But today, there's no rain in Milan, but I did have a look at the forecast for both Rome and Imola. So Thursday, there is 75% chance of rain, Friday rain, Saturday rain. So if you look at that, even though there's probably no rain today, and today was the best of the 4 days of the event, it's probably not going to get any better. Had they have had 4 days of sunshine, maybe they would have said, look, we've seen the worst of it. Let's forego Friday, let's run Saturday and Sunday. Now, what would they have done there? I'm guessing they would have had FP1 in the morning, maybe FP2 in the afternoon, quali on Sunday morning, and racing on Sunday afternoon. We've had that before. Last time I remember, I think it was in Japan, where that typhoon closed things down on the Saturday, meaning that quali had to be run on the Sunday morning, and I'll be corrected on that if my memory is correct. Go to the Ferrari Museum. Okay, thank you for the tip. Super Sundays are great, says Aaron. Yes, if you're at the track, you get extra value. Monaco next. Not staying in Monton. I'm staying in Beausoleil, walking down the hill to the track, and that's a much better alternative because it's just a pain in the bum driving to and from. But the beauty is I don't need a parking pass, and normally we get our parking passes at the race prior. And that saves us having going to the accreditation centre. And that's right, another thing we got told on the 2 days prior when we got these messages from F1 was, do not go to the track and do not go to the accreditation centre. So that was obviously, things were serious at that point. And says Guten Morgen side, there's a drought in Spain. Well, too bad they can't take some of this water over there. No traffic either when walking, exactly right, and not that we have to pay for parking, but it is a bit of a hike down to the paddock. So it's probably the same, a little bit longer from walking from our apartment, although it's not as nice an apartment as the one I had last year in Monton. Giuseppe Miazza, but everyone calls it San Siro. Okay. Do you think drivers should do an online GP? Do whatever they want. Somebody said, you should have said something about the people impacted. Well, me saying anything about anything does nothing. It's like thoughts and prayers. My response to thoughts and prayers is go and watch the Anthony Jeselnik comment about it. Sums it up perfectly. Yeah. But certainly it's no fun if you're there, and I've been in affected areas like this before in a cyclone in Darwin, and it's just a lot of hard work. For the locals, take many photos of the flooded track. Well, I can't because that's 3 hours away by train. And as I said before, pointless me going there because I could get stranded and not be able to make the next race. And F1 have already said, stay away. We don't want you there. You're just going to be a nuisance. So I'll leave that up to the news stations to do. Yeah, it is aid. I agree. Thoughts and prayers. Ferrari donates $1 million to the flood relief fund. It's lights out and away they row. That's sharp. What am I doing to fill the time? Well, we've got 4 days in Milan to explore, and I want to catch up with a young fella that runs an Instagram page called Insane Luxury Life. He talks about watches on his page. He's so knowledgeable, and watches is a passion of mine, but I have to convince him to put his head on a video because I think it'll be a great video. Otherwise, I have to blur his face, which I'll do because he knows so much about watches and what these drivers wear, and it's a fascinating topic. And thank you to those people who came to my meet and greet in Imola. There's a handful of them. I'm just surprised anybody came that knew me from there because not typically my audience, but it was a great experience and relatively relaxed. I was delighted to see that Pato O'Ward came second in that race. Would have liked Marcus or Roman to be up there as well, but Alex Palou, I called him Palau the other day. What a lovely guy he is. And I must admit, it was fantastic because I had the right to video the drivers, talk to them, video down near the paddock. And if you haven't watched that video, I urge you to go and have a look at it, because it was something unusual for me to be able to get that sort of access. Did you meet fellow Aussie Will Power? I had one comment to him. I just said, Will, do you still follow Aussie rules? And he said, no, short and sharp. No conversation there. Do I sell my pictures to trading card companies? No, I don't know. No one's inquired about that, so the answer is no. Yeah, IndyCar is interesting. The drivers are so accessible. Of course, there's a fraction of the number of people in the paddock than there would be at an F1 race. How long did it take you to find that woman's photo from Malaysia? Oh, very quickly. I just, excuse me, I just typed in Daniel Frost, because I knew I'd tagged her son, and it was taken at about the same time. So yeah, that's the beauty of Lightroom. When I do my keywording well, it's extremely easy to find images. But if you are a Paddo Award fan, and I know that there are many of you, get online now and go to kymillman.com and get one of those signed pics, because it's a lovely photo, and I'm not sure Paddo will make it into F1, so it'll be one of the only times you'll see him in an F1 car. I have a photo of everybody, Kelly. Well, I've got a photo of a lot of people. It's just sometimes my letdown is my keywording. So yeah, I've got to pick, and I know I took it, but then it takes me forever to find it. Go to Magello, not far. No, I think we're just going to hang around here. I don't feel the need to really do anything. Yes, I do have a NAS server in Perth. Yes, everything at the end of the race goes up online. And I noticed the Americans call him Paddo Award. I call him Paddo, short for Patricio. He's doing pretty well. Second in the standings. How about the AP Boutique? Maybe. We're going to go and have a look at the Duomo tonight and have a lovely meal. I don't know where. Somebody's got to suggest somewhere. Yes, Imola's cancelled, Faith. Somebody has to suggest somewhere that I won't be disappointed. And I love their pastas here. And I just saw one comment that was interesting there. Are you excited for a new race in Vegas? Yeah, I am. And some good things will be happening for me that race. It'll be of no interest to you, but yeah. So I do look forward to that, because I think it will be different. Milano is a pit. One day is enough. The weather is good, drive up to Lugano. Paddo is duck in Spanish, is it? Okay. Look, I didn't love Milan the first time I came here, because I stayed in some ordinary hotel out in a shit area. The second time I came here, I stayed in a better hotel for a couple of nights, but I had a run-in. This was funny. I'll tell you briefly. I go down to hire a car at the train station. I go up to Avis, I think, and I've got my video camera, and I'm videoing, and this woman gets the shits, and she says, you can't video. And I said, I can do what I want, because it was in public space. So I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call the police. And so I thought, I can't be bothered to do this. And so I said, cancel the reservation, because I'm just about to sign it. And she goes, no, you have to go ahead with it. I said, no, I don't. And I walked away. Anyway, she comes out carrying on, screaming. So I already taken some vision, I think, on my phone. So I give my phone to my wife, and she gives me hers, and we split up. So this woman's faced with, who do I follow? Well, I'll follow him. So she follows me for a good 20 minutes walking along the street, calling the police. And I'm thinking, I'll just walk back to the hotel, and I get nearly back to my hotel, which I think was the Me Hotel. Maybe it's the Melia. No, I think it's the Me. And I'm just about 30 metres away, and there's 5 police descend upon me. And they're big, burly Italian coppers. And they go, what's going on? And I said, I don't know, you tell me. She said, you're following her. I said, no, I'm not following her. She's following me. So they go and talk to her, and they come back and say, well, she says that you've taken some video of her. Yeah. And so they go back and have another chat with her, and he comes back, and he wants to see my passport. So we have to go into the hotel. I have to get my passport, and I show them my passport. And he says to me, okay, well, you can video whatever you like. You just can't use it online. So I said, okay, fine. And he has a smile on his face and shakes my hand. I said, can I get a selfie? So I got a selfie with these 3 policemen who'd hauled me up. I didn't use it online, but that was how precious she was for her shit service. And a couple of times in the US, I was told I couldn't video in certain places. And I think, what's the point of stopping people video? If you're doing a great job, surely you want every single person out there promoting your business. And look, I'm a tight ass when it comes to marketing. With my business messages on hold, we were the king of ambush marketers. I would just get, I've just seen someone's recommendation about food. I hope I don't miss these. I would just go crazy and get free publicity wherever I can. 3-star Michelin chef restaurants? No, I'm not really interested in Michelin chef stuff. That's all way too high end. I just want good, honest pasta. And I can tell you that what we're paying $27 US for a pizza, which was good, but it's so expensive there. I don't know how the locals get by. And I've got a new video coming out tomorrow night, which actually goes through a little bit of the drama of yesterday, or our trip here, from New York to Heathrow to Milan. Should have been to Milan, Bologna, and the nimble of it. Of course, it was cancelled, so we can't do that. Now, I'm going to go back through your questions here and see if there's anything I should be answering that looks interesting. Maybe I've been watching you too long. I pronounce Pato your way. Well, I'm sure we all know who we're talking about. How often do you find yourself touring during the season? Rarely. Someone else says the volume's too low, but then other people say it's fine. Maybe it's those people's ends. I slept overnight at Centrale train station once. Yeah, that's not a very nice place to be overnighting, I would have thought. La Lateria in Milan's very good. Thank you, Stephen, for your comment. How do you prepare for a race weekend? Oh, this one I was very well prepared for. I've got a magnificent spreadsheet with where I was going to do all that, because I had quite a lot of work on this weekend. There were 3 of us shooting a whole lot of stuff, but now 3 of us are shooting absolutely nothing. Thank you, Ted from Nashville in Tennessee. Be in Barcelona at turn 1. Inside or outside, Ted? Because I definitely go inside at some point and possibly outside. Ferrari factory doesn't allow photos. Well, forget that. I'm not going there unless I can make a video about it. No way will they re-ignore. Okay, you reckon the schedule's full? Think this wins for best pick of F1 for the season, says someone. 14 confirmed. Okay, so up from 8. But that water in the river was flowing at a fair speed, and as often happens in Australia, especially in the outback, a dry riverbed suddenly becomes a raging torrent in no time at all, and it gets people out, especially those who drive across thinking they can get across, and it turns out to be much more deeper. It's very savage water, not to be messed with. Yes, a Karen is someone who just carries on like a sook. Sound okay on the TV? Thank you, Roland. I know you missed me in Miami, Richard. I was looking out for you. I did do a meet and greet, but the trick was I said at the paddock swipe gates, and some people misconstrued that as the paddock club entrance. So I need to be more definite about where I do them. I'm going to do one in Monaco. Where should I do that? Probably, that's tricky, hard to get around for people. Tracks like Austin are great because everyone can get to this one spot that I do it. Should Germany be back on the calendar? Yeah, I love Germany. And when was it, 2019, when they all went off at the last turn? And I spent the whole race there. My God, that was a feast of photos for me. Astrophotography, hard work, Colt, really hard work. Gave it a crack. Went out and took some nice photos at the dunes once, but no, way too difficult. Did I beat my son at golf? Well and truly. I had 3 birdies that day, and if you watch my video, what was that? That was the one in Indianapolis. Yeah, met a lovely fella who invited us to have a hit and thoroughly enjoyed it. Do it in Canada. Canada, I'm thinking, what's the accessibility near the paddock? But yes, I will endeavour to do it where I can. And thank you indeed if you take the time to show up. Have you seen the new Prince's Car Museum? No, but I have no time in Monaco, absolutely none at all. Oh, yes, I do. Monday, no, I won't have time. There's a great taco joint. Don't like tacos, so I won't be having that, but thanks for the suggestion. West coast of Ireland. I've never been there. Oh, not to the west coast. How do you handle the varying lighting conditions? Just do this. Very simple. Very simple. Sometimes I use a flash, but very, very rarely. Most difficult photo to shoot, yet super satisfying. I think my shots of the cars coming out of the tunnel in Monaco is good because I know the shot intimately and I'm guaranteed to get it, but it's just so uncomfortable because you have to lie on the ground. Yeah, it's tricky. But this year I might try some multi-exposures, 3 or 4 frames on the one frame. How has the rise of social media influenced your work and the broader field? It means sometimes I'm trying to shoot in the paddock and people want to stop and have a chat, which sometimes is not possible and I have to run off. And that's the thing. I'm happy to chat with someone, but here's what I'm doing. I'm looking around, and if Lewis is over there and I'm chatting to you, I'll just say goodbye. There's just, that's what we're there to do, document what's going on. Has it affected what I put out? No, not really. I still tend, there's not much interest in cars. Every now and then I put up a handful of pictures of cars and I think, what's the point? No one's interested in them. When I say no one, it's still perhaps more likes or more engagement than most photographers would get, but as a percentage of my audience, people just want to see, I'll tell you what sells, women, emotion, drivers' faces, shots without sunglasses do better than shots with sunglasses. Yeah, it's pretty much the human side of the sport. And the money side, it's the over-the-top extravagance. And certainly with my videos, it's women and money. They're the two drivers. So if you have a video about women with lots of money, that's gold. How many drivers do you think would be able to pick you out of a crowd? Almost all of them would recognise my hat. Not that they're going to come up and say hello, but yes, I imagine they would recognise, because if you see the same people for 105 weekends in the last 5 years, you just get to know them. Is AI a threat to photography? I can't see how it would be, Carl. No. But what I would like, this would be a dream, is a machine that you program to pan with the cars, and you put your camera on there and somehow you press a button, and when the car comes along, it pans with the car at exactly the same speed and takes those perfect panning shots. Maybe that's on its way. I don't think it'll work all the time because obviously cars have to brake in a hurry or they do different things. But yeah, I'm not so certain that AI is going to do us out of a job at any stage. Do spectators get a full refund? Yeah, I did see that today, that there was an announcement that refunds were being processed. Albeit the British GP, yes, you need telemetry from FIA. Yeah, unlikely they're going to be giving that out. When did you realise that making YouTube videos was something that will define quite a big part of your... Oh, okay. My eldest son, Tyler, pushed me for a while. When was it? 2019 or 20? And I resisted, like I resisted with YouTube, with Instagram for a while. And then I went and did one and showed it to him, and he said, "You can't put that up, that's disgusting." So I went and did it again, and it was okay. Pretty basic sort of thing. But now I have 2 editors who understand me, and like previously to do a video every 2 days was unheard of and almost impossible. But now I can easily do that because I just do the recording, pretty much the stuff to camera, and I send it back to Perth, and one of my 2 editors goes to work on it, and they understand what I want, and it's a real joy. Hard without paddock pass to meet drivers. Silverstone, where do you recommend? Work out where they are and be there. But remember, a lot of them stay on site, so they don't even enter or exit the track. Or they do, obviously, on the Thursday and leave on the Sunday. Osso Bucco, I don't know if I like Osso Bucco. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to take a punt on it either. Yes, Kelly. Yeah, both great video editors and can do way better than me, and it's fantastic. When is a private video jet being released? About a month ago, Archie. Go and have a look. It's done very well. 300,000 views. Hello from the Philippines. Do you know Bia? Is it BIA, the young girl driving in some category? A lot of you say I should go and photograph her, but I don't think they're actually racing, are they, at any F1 weekend? Needn't make a trip out here to Monterey Car Week. Oh, probably not going to do that either, unfortunately. Meet and greets in Barcelona and Monaco at some point. I don't know whether everyone is going to be able to get access to wherever I do it. Some tracks are really tricky. Any ideas for the next video? Yeah, I've got one that's going up tomorrow that's already cut. I've got another one that I'm probably going to do about, well, I don't know. I might do one about the cancellation. You've given me a few ideas here. Do you write stuff down, or would that just slow you down? With videos? I have done a couple with auto cue in Perth. I think people can tell that I'm reading, but it is a very quick way of recording. There's no mucking about. But it sounds better when I can just speak ad lib. And you know, the funny thing is here, I talk to you and I rarely make a mistake because I can't. When I do stuff, when I'm videoing, I can make a mistake, and I do, and I take 3 and 4 and 5 takes sometimes getting a video done, which is quite frustrating. So I can tell you outside it's still grey in Milan. It's not raining. We have rain forecast though for this region for the next 4 days, and as I mentioned earlier on, that's probably a reason why they cancelled, because it was not going to get better anytime quickly. I think the rain that they're forecasting will not make it worse perhaps, but certainly not make it any better. Is Imola being skipped or postponed? Well, I think they're trying to find another spot for it. My heart goes out to all the people who've suffered. Yeah, it's I've been in fire-ravaged areas before in Australia. I've done a bloopers. No, maybe I haven't done a bloopers video. There's a lot. I could fill hours of it. Bianca Bustamante, is that how we say it, is driving an F1 Academy. I have a race. Okay, in Coda. I will definitely do a shoot with her. And I did a little bit of video and a photo shoot with Lindsay Brewer last week in Indianapolis. You know, the funny thing is, she drives in Indy Lights, or USF it's called, which is a lower rung, and she has, I think it's 1.5 million followers, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have no doubt that the entire Instagram following of all the other male drivers in that category would not come anywhere near her one figure of that, and I think you'll find that that'll be the same with any woman who looks like she's a glamour model, and she's a pretty good racer too, but as she says, she's got this awful battle being so small and trying to control that car. She had a blister on her hand if you watch my last video. Hello Galactus, who's popped in a couple of dollars here on Super Chat. Where's Kym photo book? Look for the hat. Yeah, well, they wouldn't be very good pictures of me because I'd have to find someone else to take them. Well, they'd be good pictures if they were a good photographer, but no, I don't have many photos of me. Jace has taken a couple of me at the track, but no, I don't think that would sell too well. Thanks for the suggestion, though. And if you want to get your comment definitely noticed, and I hope I haven't missed any other Super Chats here, definitely go to Super Chat and chime in. A lot of my Australian followers aren't on board because it's the early hours of the morning, but I dare say they'll pop in at some point. A bucket hat of the month calendar. Is my son working for me? Yes, and he's working like a Trojan. Long hours, so I have to look after him during the off days, and I can tell you we're going to Rome by train on Monday. And I thought, right, we're going to take the very best seats. And I've done a video review of that cabin before, and I'll do another one. But it's the best train trip I've ever taken in my life. And we get to do it again, 3 hours on it. It's awful bloody carting all that luggage around, though, because it's just not convenient. Yeah, he's with me. He's in the other room, Dan. We moved from this 20 square metre small room, sixth rent-a-car, Roland. Awful with their queuing up for hours to get your car. Yeah, in this small room, 2 single beds. It was a nice hotel, but unfortunately, I couldn't see myself lasting another 4 nights there. So we rented this magnificent apartment. It's big, although you won't be able to tell from that there. And it's got 2 bedrooms and 2 beautiful bathrooms. So we're most fortunate we found that. Yeah, Florence is great, but yeah, I don't need to sightsee. I'm sure there'll be interesting stuff that we can see out here. I'm more interested in people. Never use vintage equipment. Josh Paul does. You want to have a look at his stuff. And we went to B&H the other day in New York, and that features in my next video or last? Yeah, my next video. 10 things you need to do in New York. Another one was playing a grand piano, a Steinway. Where was I going with that? Yeah, and they had a whole lot of those old cameras that Josh Paul uses. It's tricky to use, and I think it's hard enough doing what I do with the very best cameras that make it easy for me. Am I excited for Vegas GP? Yes, I am excited for it, but I feel I will be disappointed. There you go. Neutrogena, toucan roaming. That must be amazing. Father and son working in F1, travelling the world. Yeah, he's doing 7 races this year. If he does 14, he can get his permanent pass for next year. Thank you, McLaren F1 France. Monaco. Well, see, it's my favourite track. I love it. Any hidden talents, Kym, you could do a video about here? My hidden talents? I could do one, but it wouldn't be very much of a video, I don't think. My most pressing thing is in 9 minutes' time, we have to settle on a restaurant. And it needs to be reasonably close by with stunning food, a lovely decor, and hopefully some interesting people that we can meet. And trains in Italy are fast. Yes, yes. When am I flying Finnair? Well, let's have a look. I have this great spreadsheet that I should be able to tell you very quickly. Travel, search Finnair. There it is. Amsterdam to Helsinki in June. And then I've got another one, I think. Helsinki to Singapore, Doha to Singapore. Doha to... Yeah, I've got 4 flights with them. Nice to catch you. Yes, we've done that one. Could you do a video about it? No, I said that one. What video platform, editing platform? Well, look, I started off with Premiere Pro years and years ago, and I was average at it. And then I was told I should go to Final Cut Pro, which I got, which was fantastic, and I got quite slick at that. And then the boy said, no, if we're going to keep doing better and better stuff, you have to go back to Premiere Pro. And I said, right, I'm not doing any more editing. You can do all the editing, and I'll just do the easy bit. But what that means for you is you get a video every 2 days, and you wouldn't get that if I was having to do everything. Because what previously took me, and I'll paint you a picture, if I'm going to do a video about, I don't know, the Imola race being cancelled, I do at least an hour prep, getting some notes together. I do probably 30 minutes recording it. I then have to cut a timeline. That's going to take me an hour or maybe 40 minutes. Then I have to go and put the photos over top. That's probably 4 to 7 hours. Then I have to do different versions of it, output it and load it. That's easily 7 hours. It's minimum 7 hours to do a video. Now it's an hour and a half. So I can do a lot more. Do you ever feel like quitting? Yeah. Not often, but and I guess if I had 3 shit days in a row, I could well throw it in. Yeah, I miss my wife. My wife misses your travel tips. Okay. Well, I had one the other day and I should put it in. What was it? Oh, yeah, I do know what it was. I'll put it in. Why is there no high-speed rail in Australia? I don't know. Because its country's too big, perhaps? Any super chat questions you want to raise to the top of the list here? I'll gladly get to them shortly. Otherwise, I'm probably going to say goodbye to you in 5 minutes and go and enjoy some magnet. Oh, I missed this one, did I? Or did I miss the second one? Galacticus twice. Thank you very much for that. Where's Kym's photo book? And what was the second one? Galactus. Where are you from, Galactus, with your blue super chats? And can you guys see the super chats when they come up in this feed? Have you lost any items this month travelling? Yeah. It wasn't high value. What was it? Yes, I can't remember. My oldest son's got himself a job or an internship at Deloitte's doing very high up programming. Did you get any good footage of the ceiling conveyor belts? No, I didn't, but I did see the conveyor belts running underneath the desk where we went up to inquire about some products. It's a phenomenal store, and for those of you who aren't aware, B&H Photo is a Jewish-run business. They're open for 6 days a week, closed on the Sabbath. Lots of traditional Jewish dressed guys in there and women. They have 27 counters to pay at. 27 cashiers. That's the level of business that they do. And not everything that they sell is on show, but they pretty much sell everything in the photographic world. But not only that, they've got binoculars and security systems and everything. And you go and have a chat and they say, have you got this? And they get on their computers and then they say, yes, I can get your product down, and bang, then it comes through the conveyor belt. It's quite an amazing job. Oh, and guess who I saw last night? Have you had a look at my story post on Instagram? I saw two of my favourite people involved with F1, Nobuaki and Minako Tsunoda. And I just happened to be out the front of this fantastic restaurant where we'd eaten. And round the corner, I see him first, Mr. Tsunoda, who is the sharpest dressed man in the paddock. It's just so elegant all the time, and his lovely wife. And so we had a quick chat and a hug and a photo, and I just rate Yuki's parents through the moon. And half the time I think, I wish he could take me shopping for clothes because I'm clueless. And then I had something else. I'm doing something with some people in Monaco, and they said, oh, do you have a jacket, Kym? I said, no, I don't have a jacket, a dinner jacket. I don't travel with a dinner jacket. Why? Oh, we wanted to invite you to this very high-end function at the Prince's thing. I thought, thank you, but no, I have no clothing when I travel like that. That's all at home. Galactus is from Ohio, and he spelt my name wrong, but I'm going to let him go on that. Been a fan of mine for years. Thanks for all the great BTS videos. My pleasure. Thank you for your support. And thank you, Martin, for your thanks. Hope you have a good weekend off. Yeah, well, we've done nothing really except go to the supermarket each once today. And pretty much the rest of the time we've watched YouTube stuff. I watched a bit of Ted Lasso and done a little bit of work here. But it is time now to go out and have something to eat, which is... I'm not going to rent a jacket. I hate renting clothes. It's such a pain in the ass. La Buffalotta, nice pizza. Oh, well, I gave Angelo's Pizza in New York 9 out of 10. Gosh, it was good. And if you saw my video, you would have seen that I had access to the kitchen. Have I done that? Was that this video? Have you seen that? No, you haven't seen that. That's the one that's going up tomorrow night. Yeah, I wish I could get that pizza. I'm sure I could get equivalent pizza. Oh, we've got to do one funny thing. Yes, with that said, I'm going to go and do this funny thing and you'll see the results on my story post or perhaps on an upcoming video. With that said, thank you very much for hanging around and listening to what I've got to say, and thank you for your comments. So, ciao, arrivederci from